Crypto Kids, welcome back to another video. Today, Bitcoin is seeing a very small pump towards the upside after finding beautiful support from this line over here, which we discussed Bitcoin can come down to $40,600 over the weekend, following a dump that would take us down there to create a double bottom and put us back into the triangle. However, it's looking pretty tight here because Bitcoin had around 960 Bitcoin worth of selling pressure at 41.7K. That's why I put my stop loss to break even, because it's possible that Bitcoin continues this dump towards the downside, but more on that in the upcoming minutes. Now, Bitcoin liquidation data is showing some pretty interesting signs, and I'll get into that as well. But most importantly, we'll have a look at the breaking news for the Bitcoin ordinals program, not program, but protocol, and more on-chain data that will support a potential drastic price increase after the halving. But all of that will be discussed in the upcoming minutes. We do have some pretty interesting charts, and alongside when is the actual deadlines for the spot ETFs, because it's much sooner than when you think it is. And finally, this question, which will raise some debate, but I'm up for it, and why AI, androids, and robots will take Bitcoin to $1 million. Wow, that sounds like a lot. And it is a lot. However, we will cover every single point that I just mentioned because they're all individually very important. So make sure to stay tuned until the end of today's video. Smash up the like button. That would be very, very much appreciated. And guys, I'm Crypto Kid. The thing didn't work. That's annoying. It usually does work, but anyways, you get the gist. So let's jump into the price of Bitcoin and see what is happening and what we can do next. Now, going over to TradingView, this is actually the most crucial support line that we have, and it takes us to $38,000, which is why in the macro, I do have a swing trade open at $38,000 to long this Bitcoin price, because I think 38K is going to hold very well, hopefully, right? Of course, there's always a chance we continue the dump towards the downside, but I do think that some sort of a reversal will be coming at 38K, because we've been holding it very nicely since the 23rd of October of this year. And over on Bitflex, I do have a conditional long position that would long Bitcoin if we retraced back to that level. Ladies and gents, if you do want to find a place to trade Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, you can head over to the description below and sign up to Bitflex using this link, because there are around $68,888 worth in prizes, which you can claim just in the rewards hub by collecting your Flex points and redeeming it for awesome gifts. And I always forget to log in and collect my Flex points. If you collect them consistently, you can save up for some pretty cool prizes indeed. But ladies and gents, going back into what I think will happen next for Bitcoin is that we may see a bit more of a downside. I do like this candle today, right? It is a nice reversal candle, so watch out how we close for in 8 hours and 49 minutes. If the candle closes like such, then we can see a continuation of this reversal up. However, if not, then Bitcoin can see itself at 30K, 38K this week or going into the next week. And we're prepared for that, which is absolutely awesome, right? So we don't need to worry too much. However, as we discussed in previous videos, Bitcoin likes to see 35%, 30% reversals in price after massive moves up, especially after an 8-candle move towards the upside. 8 candles, guys, it's crazy. And the higher you go up, so the higher you climb, the harder you fall, right? It's just the basic law in physics. It's the same, right? It doesn't change in TA either. The higher you go, the harder you fall. So that's what I'm a bit concerned about. There is a small chance of avoiding this if we consolidate at this range and we have some bullish fundamentals like the Bitcoin ETFs, which we'll get into, that could get us to $47,000, which would be fantastic. And from that level, I do expect a pretty severe drop, at least to the 36K level, because that's just how it happens, right? Bitcoin sees these massive increases, we see small dumps, but we end up going parabolic afterwards. So there's nothing to worry about. It would be very healthy, in my opinion, for Bitcoin to see that retracement, and it's just going to give us that opportunity to buy cheaper Bitcoin and cheaper altcoins, because the altcoin market is seeing a small reversal towards the downside today. I think it could be a good time to be collecting some of those alts in GameFi, and I do have my eye right on medieval empires. I'll be honest with you. The reason for this is because tomorrow they have the crypto release, and I just got my land. So what you can do is, right, if you sign up to Medieval Empires, create an account, send me your UID in the comment section below. I'll be inviting 2 people to my land today. right? So if you send me your UID in the comment section below, I'll be inviting you to my land and we can play Medieval Empires together. It's a beautiful, beautiful game. I'll probably make a full video on it tomorrow, but I'm just addicted to it. I'm super addicted to it. It's like Clash of Clans, but I'll give you a tour of the game tomorrow. But let me know if you want to see that. So going back into the price of Bitcoin, I think the altcoins will have a massive run. We're still down like 75, 80%. And as you can see, we're in a massive accumulation phase that once we break out of it, especially now that the Bollinger Bands are squeezing on the multi-time frame, I think altcoins will see a huge run. And I will be dropping a video with my top altcoins. So yeah, just wait for that. But I do think that Medieval Empires could do pretty well. I've been an investor for like a year and a half now, and honestly, they've developed some pretty crazy stuff. But let's jump into the news because I think that's pretty important, right? So we discussed about my conditional long at 38K, and I will be continuing to buy up Bitcoin over here on Bitflex if the price sees further reversals towards the downside. So stay tuned on this channel. Make sure to turn on the notification bell and you won't miss any of these trades. Now going into the breaking news. So Bitcoin miners hit a record of $9.97 million earnings from ordinals. So what is happening here is that the ordinals are actually creating more transaction rewards for the miners. So now with the halving, right, after the halving, the mining rewards will be cut in half, right? And that's going to cause a lot of unprofitable miners to sell their Bitcoin and exit because it's going to be costly for them to run these miners and they're not going to make money from it anymore. However, with ordinals, it's going to give them an incentive to continue mining because rewards will also increase. So that's why I like ordinals. And I've made a video on this many months back saying it's going to be the next big thing in crypto. And alongside ordinals, I think Bitcoin Layer 2s overall will do very well. And another token in my portfolio is Stacks. I'm very bullish on Bitcoin Layer 2s. I really think they could cause, they're going to really revolutionize Bitcoin overall, Bitcoin payments, Bitcoin infrastructure. So I'm looking at layer 2s very carefully. Now, if we look at the Bitcoin inscription versus the monetary transaction count, of course, the transactions are much higher than the inscriptions, but you can see that the inscriptions are going pretty parabolic, right? And actually, no, it's the other way around. So these are the transactions. So the transaction count is over here, and these are the non-inscription transactions. So there's about a 250K difference. Of course, the inscriptions are more of a minority, but they are certainly growing, and they're growing fast, and they're back, right? They're back after months, and I really do think that they will be doing very well, especially after the halving. So I am looking at layer 2s, like I mentioned, and maybe, like coins like ORDI and NFTs on Bitcoin, I don't really like. The reason why I don't like NFTs, although they're the #1 in sales over the past 24 hours, even though they saw a 68% decline towards the downside, yes, they're creating transaction rewards for Bitcoin, but they don't actually have utility yet. They're more PFPs. Once we see those utility NFTs on Bitcoin ordinals, I will go all in. Right? And because I'm a Bitcoin maxi, and I think that a lot of the things that you can do in crypto, you can just do with Bitcoin as well. So that I'll be on the lookout for utility NFTs on the Bitcoin ordinals protocol. If you have any recommendations, leave them in the description below and I will check them out. Now, Franklin Templeton, which is one of the ETF providers, they're one of the biggest guys in the game. They're saying that they envision every national treasury one day holding Bitcoin. So national treasuries, of course, have reserves of bonds or actually the treasury, depending on which country you're in, the term changes. But it would be very interesting that countries, the national treasuries across the world, they hold Bitcoin as an asset, right? To as an underlying asset, as a hedge to inflation, or like gold or bonds, etc. That Bitcoin would be one of them. And I really do see Bitcoin taking a role in national treasuries, and that would cause the price of Bitcoin to increase dramatically because governments would create massive buying pressure, and of course they need to buy Bitcoin from spot to put it in their treasuries. So it would be very bullish indeed, and I just see a very bright future for Bitcoin. It's looking pretty good. Now, talking about Bitcoin investors and investment into Bitcoin, we can see that investors are waiting for higher prices to sell. So they're not selling at the moment. We can see over here that the last time we saw massive selling pressure was back in August, right? And then prior to that, we saw it in the last bull market. Actually, you can see that, right? There are more investors selling compared to the last bull market than to now. But I just think if we compare it relatively to the people not willing to sell in the bottom of the bear market, I think it's still doing pretty well. So we may see some selling pressure, but not significant enough. It's going to all depend if Bitcoin holds the the $47,000 level. If we come up to it, I think at 47K or 48K, there's going to be a lot of selling pressure if we see it. But I think there's a lot of buying pressure inversely at 36, 37, 38. So that is something interesting that I wanted to share with you guys. So in under 3 weeks, we are going to see Bitcoin spot ETF deadlines. And Grayscale, I think, no, it's going to be ARK Invest, which is going to be the first one, the first deadline to see yes or no. Are we going to see that ETF? And honestly, if we do see it, I mean, it's going to be very difficult. I think we're going to see a pump towards the upside and then a drastic retrace, because that's what Bitcoin does, right? We've clearly priced it in. We've clearly priced in the ETFs. Like, it's just been done. Because if I go over to my Twitter here, I posted a chart saying that Bitcoin has went up actually by 45% since the fake ETF approval, right? And even like right now, there's no ETF on the table. So we have priced it in, just like how the stock market has priced in the interest rate cuts that's going to come next year. I think it's priced in. But the way that Bitcoin works is, whenever we see an incredibly bullish news or an incredibly bearish news, there is FOMO into longing or shorting Bitcoin. So once the ETF is actually approved, I think a wick to 48K is possible, followed by a significant retrace towards the downside. And then after the halving, we'll see that parabolic increase towards the upside. That's what I think will happen for Bitcoin. And there's also always a chance that the ETF is also not approved. Look, I just have this gut feeling. I think that something will go wrong. There's a very, very small chance, like a 10% chance that they're not approved, but I just have this funny feeling, right? And let me know, do you have this funny feeling that something is going to go wrong? Of course, I don't want anything to go wrong, but I don't know. I don't know. I just feel it. I just feel it. But anyways, I think what will take Bitcoin to the $1 million mark regardless will be AI and robots. Because think about it this way, right? Actually, there was a bug with Grok that it was saying that it has its own Bitcoin address. Grok is the AI of Twitter, like ChatGPT, but Twitter's own AI. And I just think that because nobody will give a bank account to robots or androids, and I think androids and AI, conscious AI, will want to transact, right? They will want to sell the services they provide. They will want to buy digital assets. And because no one's going to give a bank account to them, I honestly think the only way that they will be able to transact will be through Bitcoin. So I honestly think that digital beings will be using crypto in everyday transactions. So watch out for that. But ladies and gents, that is pretty much it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, again, make sure to smash up that like button. But guys, take care, and I will see you all in the next video very soon. Take care, guys, and bye-bye.